The first synth we'll be starting with is one of my favorites. Synth 1 by Ikiro Toda is a beautiful homage to the Nordlied from Clavia, the legendary bright analog modeling synth that came out in the mid-90s. Even today, the Nordlied is still a highly sought-after synth. It sounds great and has tons of flexibility, and the same can be said for Synth 1. One of my favorite things about Synth 1 is the ease in which you are able to get a super or hyper saw type of sound out of Oscillator 1, similar to a Roland JP8000. And I also really like the chorus and delay effects that come built in, as well as the arpeggiator. Let's begin taking a look at Synth 1 now together. First, let's talk about installation, as Synth 1 does not have one at all, like most free plugins. Once you download either the 32 or 64-bit version of the VST or Audio Units version of the synth, make sure you drop the file into either the component or VST folder of the main library on your Mac. Once you reload your host, DAW, locate Synth 1 in either the Audio or VST section of your DAW's selection area. I'll go ahead and pull it up here in the Ableton Live browser. Like all synthesizers, it's usually great to start from an initialized basic patch that doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. Unfortunately, Synth 1 doesn't really have an initialized patch that is exempt from effects or modulation. Let's go ahead and rectify this now and easily create a quick and easy real default patch where everything is zeroed. To do this, I'll click where it says Initial Sound. This brings up a browser that gives you access to all of Synth 1's preset sounds. Using the list on the right, I'll locate an empty bank and select Initial Sound in another bank. You'll notice that this patch is much more toned down than the rapid arpeggiated patch that we initially started with, but it could still be a little more dry. I'll start off by turning the mix knob all the way to the left. This makes it where we now only hear Oscillator 1. Next, I'll lower the amount coming from LFO2 so that no more modulation is being sent to the default pulse width modulation. Finally, I'll go up to the amplitude envelope and raise the sustain all the way up, lower the attack, and release all the way down, and lower the velocity sensitivity. I would also suggest setting the filter envelope amount to 0 by placing the knob in its middle setting. This will mean that the filter is not coloring the true sound, well, once you raise the cutoff all the way up. You may also want to set the voice mode of Synth 1 to mono with a polyphony of 1. Synth 1 is really light on the processor, but by removing all the effects, modulation, and routing on your initialized patch, you'll be freeing up unneeded resources and have an accurate starting sound that doesn't have anything going on in the back you don't know about. In the next tutorial, we're going to learn how to save this initialized patch, as well as how to make more complicated patches as well, like a pad.